Hello, everyone, guys. Welcome to super interesting live stream. I prepared very cool resume article I wrote for you to explain you once again what is 3D, 4D, 5D, because you maybe have a mess and not structurized vision. For me, it's super obvious. Like many things I processed, I can explain on psychological level, on biological level, scientific level, and so-called metaphysical level, energetic level, subtle plan, as we call it. So guys, this is very interesting. I want to make a categorical thing a little bit. Of course, it's conditional. It's not super rough and like strict, but I want you to check right now. Each one of you have to check yourself. At what stage, at what dimension you are now. So everything is divided, but everything intersects. The world is different, but at the same time, it is one. The fifth law of universe, as I say. How to understand what dimension you are, what dimension you are from. What is dimensionality itself? Before working with space, a certain basis is chosen for it. The number of basis vectors, independent parameters necessary to describe the state of an object in mathematics is called dimensionality. A space that is capable of maintaining a certain set of parameters on a permanent basis is called dimension. So previously on Earth, space was mainly three-dimensional. Low frequencies and some high-frequency beings, 4D, 5D worlds, realities were shown to people in the form of usually so-called saint people. So they were 4D, 5D, but they were perceived by low vibrational savages as a Jesus, saint, prophet, super high something, which is not even, they could not even handle the vibrational frequencies coming through such people before. So their high frequencies could not last long in the perception of most of the people. This is very important. That's why it was like more worshiping, gurus worshiping saints and so on. But now on Earth, there was a very rapid change in frequencies, as it is called Schumann's resonance and its scientific measurement. And now we entering so-called golden age, or the age of Aquarius. You heard about this many times. Of course, the transition is super smooth. It cannot be, believe me, even such little bit changes in the frequency level of Earth are really noticeable. And if we will jump into very, very high frequencies, the bodies which were based on low materia, 3D world, won't be capable of receiving such energies. That's why I'm always repeating about raise your vibration, prepare your body, cleanse your body, make Kundalini, and so on. Just not to crack, because there are two ways. You are matching vibrations of new reality, Earth, or not. Who not goes to reincarnation. But we can take responsibility for ourselves. We are self-sufficient creatures, as we understood finally, that no one decides how we should live if we choose. So we are entering the golden age, the age of Aquarius. And it brought new frequencies. These energies form a new multidimensional space. Under the influence of such frequencies, all beliefs that people have developed in the past now dissolve or begin to manifest themselves in higher and better forms according to the new laws of the universe. In one space, in one time continuum, there are three different realities. You will see and recognize it clearly, guys, this year. And 3D, 4D, 5D, how they kind of call them to just understand, to describe this phenomena. If you are a three-dimensional person with a three-dimensional system of views and programs, then you can only see the third dimension, which is logical: length, width, and height. Time exists as unshakable line, which is constant. The perception in 3D is completely like, I went to school, I grew up, and I will die. So you see only a line, which is without any hesitations. It's installed in you, and you cannot perceive time differently in 3D. If you are in transition, or you are four-dimensional, then you see two dimensions at the same time. You see 3D people, reality, but 4D as well. And they are being attracted to you more and more often. Your reality is complicated by the fourth parameter, time, which is revealed through the moment here and now, through this magical vision, magical perception, which I'm leading you to, that everyone should be perceiving only like this in fourth dimension. We have stabilization, we have rollbacks, we're using different tools to enter the room, to enter the space. So once you obtained the state here and now with no thoughts, you automatically start to perceive time differently. You will notice this. You can stretch time. You can, yeah, it's unbelievable. Sometimes your day can last like a week, or sometimes it can be super accelerated. So you will perceive time as a concrete material as you perceive height and, three parameters of 3D. So, okay, you are immersed inside the present moment, the depth of the space, its layers and sections. So you really can perceive that the picture is more sharp, more bright, and as if holographic. Like even the picture itself is not three-dimensional, but like kind of psychedelic or not real or as artificial. And this is normal. You're not going crazy. This is only your possibility to perceive a little bit differently, not how we got used to in 3D. At the last densities of the fourth dimension, some kind of parameters, it's only like very conditional, like 4.7, 4.8, 4.9. A vision of the first stages of the fifth dimension opens up to you. And in parallel, the lowest and densest dimensions like 3.0, 3.1, they just collapse. You just cannot be in such kind of circumstances, hellish, inside the war or something which will be so not matching your vibrations. This is what I was explaining you, that through the work inside, internal work from within, we really operate reality in the manner that we attract events which match only our vibrational level, and no one to blame for troubles. No one and no miracles, because they are really explained. This is how evolution goes. The old closes, the new opens. So we are shifting higher and higher, ascending, as we call. So the third dimension is the dense material world, very rigid concepts. And the fifth dimension is subtle world and multi-dimensionality. When you really can perceive with your own eyes many new things, and with your heart, with your provision and intuition, you just capture everything. And it's without any hesitations, as I told you. It's not glitching. It's not, no one will doubt inside you that you perceive what you perceive, and this is the only truth. And the fourth dimension is like in between. Not super subtle high frequencies, but not super low. This is why I call it transition to 5D. Okay, what's next? We are able in fourth dimension to perceive both dense and subtle planes of existence. This is the theory, and now the practice. Okay, just relax, be objective, don't suffer, don't self-punish or judge yourself. And just objectively look at your life and perceive where are you now. I will voice you some qualities which are inherent to all three groups, and you can clearly understand where you're at. What I can say for sure, there are no 3D people here. No, absolutely no. They would think that I'm possessed and crazy. So good news, you are all 4D. If you still perceive yourself as half 3D, believe me, I have patterns of 3D up to the end, before everything was cleansed. So this is process. Transition is both 3D and 4D, and it's completely okay. Okay, how to determine in which dimension you are right now? The main criterion is what frequencies you vibrate at. We cannot measure frequencies, but as I told you, Russian guys, scientists, really, they measure the frequencies of a person in megahertz, usually, and they explain why these high vibrations can heal people, can affect with the field, and so on, why a person unpacks super abilities, and the science comes to these new laws. I don't know if it will be published for everyone. Everyone who tried before was killed. So three-dimensional people, you should understand if these signs prevail in you, which characteristics I will be sharing right now. That means you are three-dimensional more. You're more like in 3D than in 4D. All right. So they are vibrating low. Also, they have three-dimensional system of views and beliefs. The point of assembly of the body is dense matter. So they are dense. They are more rigid. The body are more in one shape all the time. So one denies both his own multidimensionality and the multidimensionality of space as such. Having encountered any information like this, he protests and actively conflict with his opponent. They don't believe it. They think that this is schizophrenics or schizophrenia or madness. They cannot control their thoughts, their emotions, and their reactions. Everything that goes not according to their plans and the control of their mind cause very sharp negative states and reactions, accompanied by the negative emotions, irritation, frustration, resentment, envy, indignation, anger, rejection, rudeness, fear, criticism, and blaming others for his failures. So, like, there is no acceptance of other people's opinions, super narrow thinking, rigid mind constructs. And such person has no control over his own matter. He lives unconsciously in automatic sleeping mode. So such person does not believe in self-knowledge, in the possibility of self-healing, self-development, and evolution. He doesn't see the need to raise vibrations because he doesn't believe in the field of like subtle plan itself. The ego is super developed and super big. There is kind of separation and duality, which is black, white, right, wrong, and like robot, like programmed robot. Everything that unites, not interesting, untrue, provocation, does not exist. Stays as unconditional love, friendship, union, creativity, and creation are associated with weakness of character. The main development paradigms are competition and personal gain. So everyone who fights, who achieves, or having big money, like big car, like alpha being, it's all 3D, and they spend a lot of energy for achieving their goals because they believe in material reality, and they think that they need just to fight for your right. Fight for your right. Okay. Biological matter is dense. It requires dense, heavy food with low vibrations, and which cause emotional swings. As I was saying, it's like stimulants. If you consume the energy of killed animal, you consume an aggression, and you consume it and go fighting for their benefits. Nutrition is something which is super personal for your structures. As I said right now, that's why when you ask me what is better, juice cleansing or something, I will only say better cleansing. And after that, you will recognize what your system can accept right now, because you also become more flexible in your nutrition, in your vision, in every way. You are like more subtle on your own. So heavy food, aggression, emotional swings caused by the food. There's like very nasty food and big volumes of food. Suffering exists constantly, conflicts, karma, and of course, diseases. A lot of diseases and death, reincarnation. Thoughts are mostly negative and joyless, and the reality of such person is formed accordingly, which is logical without any kind of miracles and embellishment. So, yes, these are 3D reality where we were all, but I can say that you will understand further that maybe you were not completely 3D all your life. Yes, we didn't have this sensation of present here and now to be present. We were not glitched like on the mushrooms naturally. We were not naturally high, but at least we were thinking, and we were not accepting the picture of reality which most of people around you were persuading you of. I was not accepting what I see all my life. I remember that I was kind of had critical mind and was, of course, doing what they told me to fit in society, but I was always searching for some truth. It's not all that we see. This is not how it should be. And this denial provoked the path, the search itself. And of course, because I had super abilities since childhood, that means my soul already came here at kind of the first stages of 4D, though no transcendental experiences, like total closed mind, only like intuitive in childhood, some guessing numbers and channeling happened, but it was absolutely not controlled. And I think it's like the consequence of my previous lives. So I was magician, I was doing all these things and just remember it again and again. And most of you, I can guess as well. Everything which is not in some kind of logical, understandable thing for 3D person is fairy tales and madness. That's why poor people who are enlightening, they're going to madhouse by forced by 3D relatives. And it's really a drama because many people who are locked at madhouses can just little bit stabilize themselves and live very happy 5D life. And many enlightened neurophysiologists, for instance, in Russia, we have Salamat Rasikenov, whom I was listening for hours and obtaining all he about how our brain works. He visits in madhouses and he tries to pull such people out of there, not them to become vegetables endlessly in amnesia state, but to live happy life. So the 3D man, we are speaking about 3D so much, but it's very important, is always in the position of victimhood, fatalism, apocalypse, infantilism, in other words. And his like a very favorite phrase, oh, we will all die anyways. Live once, like live fast, die young. This is absolutely 3D. A person cannot see what abilities of himself and what possibilities opens once he starts developing, and a little bit doubtful about the picture of reality he sees. 4D person, this is everyone here, you will recognize. So there are some, of course, layers of 4D. When we approach in 5D, we become completely different. At the first stages, we are kind of more doubtful, more fluctuating. Medium and high vibrational levels of 4D, a person thinks completely differently and does not agree with 3D belief system. He has his own vision, own opinion that he defends, but doesn't impose to someone. So I have my picture of reality, but I understand that someone, for instance, drink urina for self-healing, and I don't mind. It doesn't piss me off. But I am ready to stand on my position and have my beliefs, for instance, in herbal cleansing. The assembly point, the point of assembly of a multidimensionality, is the soul, the higher self, subtle matter, and energy. So such person for sure will be doing some practices, yoga, meditations, whatever can help him to open these vibrations inside. Even if it's only work with psychologist who is 3D, but he also wants to self-investigate. He wants to know himself better because he really feels something more deeply within. He considers something which is not worthy of his attention as just useless and stupid. If something destroys him, brings like weak states, he just see this and do everything to minimize such stress from his life. This is for sure. It's like self-respect and self-love is more growing in such person. He knows how to control thoughts and emotions, proactive psyche, which I explained to you in previous meeting, and thereby controls his own matter, his own body, and his biological chemical composition of the body. He controls it because he's aware. So this is the high level of awareness, first of all. So the qualities of 4D people, self-development, healing of themselves and others, structuring the space. Basically, he lives consciously. Basically, sometimes we can drop into 3D, but most of the time, super high awareness. And the quality as love with life appears. He recognizes his divine individuality, his higher self, bears responsibility for himself, and therefore doesn't subordinate himself to the desires and whims of the other people, does not play by their rules. And he choosing friends and job only according to his tastes and his clique. He surrounds himself absolutely only with those who are matching his like sensations within. So he understands the essence of the things, reads information from space, can be awakened and can be not, Awakened means he obtained and opened this vision and of present moment, which I'm talking about. So, anyways, he does not support the three-dimensional matrix of the mind. Doesn't wear any masks, or he recognizes that he wears the masks to play with the people. He just don't want to participate in such masquerade. Any collectives, 3D people who are gossiping is not interested anymore. He kind of strives for more harmony, for more wisdom, for more depth in communication. This is for sure. It's not interesting to just blah, blah, blah with the girls. And I can, now I completely can enjoy because I have no judgments at all. So once I see 3D people around me, I see them, but they are high vibrational 3D. They're closer to 4D. They are not aware what they're doing, but they are sleeping at very high reach level. If you know what I mean, this explains why some people completely 3D, they are rich, but still their body cannot regenerate and they're dying. We see such examples of many famous people, for instance. So they're suffering, dying, but they kind of sleep in super unpleasant dream. I'm surrounded now with people who are 4D, 5D, or very high quality 3D. Space really changes. It really only reflects your vibrational level, always. Before I was hesitating, I was checking this is right or not. But looking back, for me, now it's really obvious how you shift. You shift to another country, you shift to another even region, area of your city sometimes when it's more matching your vibrations. And it will be more high quality and comfort of your life anyways. So qualities I named. He doesn't participate in someone's masquerade anymore. He just feel that this is useless waste of time. He chooses work, hobbies, friends he's liking. Such a person has access to high frequencies of unity and unconditional love. He feels unity with the universal field of consciousness, with the source, with your operator of consciousness, and who is God himself. Through him, he begins to see subtle space. He is absolutely empathetic. He is telepathic because he feels a lot. He has clairvoyance. Physical matter becomes more lighter, more flexible, and obedient. Entering the fourth dimension occurs through immersion in the present moment and the fascination with this. So you are admired by the space opened for you. You have this inexplicable joy out of the states of consciousness itself. You are the creator of anything, and you're playing like a child. This is also quality of 4D people. And the fifth dimensional person is high and highest frequencies which prevail in such human being. He has only positive mood, no emotional swings to previous negative triggered things inside. The karmic body neutralized, so you going out of astrology, natal chart, anything, no one and nothing can influence you in 5D. That's why when they're asking me my sign, I'm kind of like, okay, I'm Virgo. What's next? I can be everything. So it's like also kind of instruments which help to self-realize. Astrology, numerology, tarot readings as well. Though I love tarot readings, it's like arts for me. Someone really is good at, I know astrologist, and this is kind of instrument which you can apply now as little bit the instrument of 4D to see what person has as a basis of 3D matrix. And gradually, when he will self-realize through his chart, he can go out of chart. So even astrology can be applied in a little bit different manner now. Once you self-realize, then you can use all 3D tools, so-called, but in another perspective. I started to use tarot readings even 2 years ago with clients. They were willing to say what's next, but I was using only like quantum psychology thing. I was seeing and reading information, and I was leading person for self-realization to look to the patterns he or she has and so on. So you can use whatever. Like shaman make rituals, this Mexican guy which you shared with me. Yeah, he can be healer, he can be enlightened, but these rituals is only for some maybe 3D people who are super rigid to believe at least that something exists. Because otherwise, if I just come and sit there, they can maybe feel, but they won't believe in many things that I will be telling them. So like kind of rituals is also like entertainment for 3D people, as I see it right now. So the highest high, highest high, um, 5 dimension. What again? What also happens in 5 dimension? Karmic body disappears. He always harmonious and calm as a tank. Nothing gonna change my world. Yeah, absolute calmness, absolute bliss within, no matter what happens on the surface of your reality. He is interested in the revival of the brotherhood of humanity, but not like a fighter who is crying at demonstrations like, oh, Jesus, and so on. No, it's more subtle work, which is at very high frequency levels, and even without your actions, but with your intention. Because we have this collective subconsciousness which shifts Earth to one scenario or another scenario. And there are people whose frequencies are so high, as I told you, someone like in Tibet meditating, and they, with their high frequencies, they hold the whole planet not to go to hell. So this is work without I'm Messiah. This is a work which is done subtly. Chelsea is doing such work. She shared with me, but she has no ego, and she is not saying I'm good out of this. It's very important. Ego, big ego, is inherent only to 3D people. So the sooner you will see this and realize that you are worthy of love and all abundance, even without self-importance, the sooner you will enlighten and will be stable in 5D. What's next? Harmonious and calm consciously develops other bodies that were not in demand before. The psychic body, the time body, the etheric body, pranic body, and the light body, the body of light. The role of psychic matter at this stage increases and becomes central. It represents an energy information field in which all dimensions are merged. So it's like multidimensional and fractal vision of all reality. The dreams of people of the 4D and 5D, their goals usually match. They are united based on the dream of God, absolute, and his life-given energy. The 5-dimensional people not only control and manage their matter, their physical body, but also using some other super abilities as telekinesis, teleportation, materialization, instant materialization of objects, stopping time, releasing light energy for healing of at very high frequencies, as I told you. Also, it can create its own high energy, subtle material fluid body. So the structures of cells really transform. So the energy, your body becomes more light anyways. You are not dense material anymore. And that's why food falls off as well. You cannot digest meat so easily as before. So that's why people who are naturally shifting to vegetarianism is only because they're led by body. Any conception to feed yourself out of mind can cause only breakages in the body, diseases, and very hard mental tension, which will turn into psychosis and so-called rollbacks, overeating, and some eating disorders as bulimia, binging problem, anorexia, and so on. So very careful. You can enlighten even on alcohol, as I told you, as I made it. I was just opening the door to present moment constantly. I was super stubborn as all my life. So the other thing is when your body is more light, more pure, not out of austerity, but even herbal detox, you raise your vibrations automatically. Stop in time, release light energy, rule your energy, your material, change your shape, rejuvenate, and make your body avatar perfect as you want. Motivation. These qualities are already beginning to happen in 4D frequencies. I consider myself objectively approaching 5D at very high, the last frequencies of 4D, because I cannot. I'm not on E for nutrition right now. Completely, did not teleport or telekinesis, like this kind of super cool miracles. I'm not capable of doing this. I'm only unpacking. But for sure, I have always calmness. I don't have any emotional swings, any triggers. I can operate time. I can change material. I look differently. Depends on my condition and how I feel. So my appearance always reflects, even sometimes I'm more serious and I can look older. Sometimes I'm more playful monkey. I can look younger. So it depends on my state. I really feel that my body changes its shape all the time. And even the skin also changes qualities. Sometimes it's like more moisturized. Sometimes it's more dry. So if my mind will be trying to put myself in frames, guys, I will stuck in some conception and it will harm my body. No way after even initial spiritual awakening. You are one who takes responsibility for your nutrition, for your body condition, how you feel. And your main goal here is not to follow your mind conceptions, not to search for an answer from nutritionist or someone, but to feel your body. This is the growth. We are not victims. We're not children anymore. A complication of psyche.